What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. I guess shout out to Xanatos Clutch. I guess this is another after hours infomercial, little mini rant, um, for a few minutes. Hopefully, this doesn't last more than 30. So I'm gonna dive right in. Anybody that pops in, check in with a like, much appreciated. Check out with a comment. What's up, DJ Moss? Because we 24 hours in this bitch. All right, first of all, shout out to Mr. Research. Definitely subscribe to him. I'll make sure I post this to the community tab, his channel or the video, and definitely subscribe to him. Also, I'm almost finished with launching the website. I'm gonna try to put out at least 3 articles, so everybody, it's kind of like calling all cards. I will have a place for you all to plug into the website. It's going to be some really cool stuff. We will be aggregating, some of the best content in the manosphere as far as to get you gamed up, get you informed, and actually taking steps to, live your best life. What's up, Super Triz? All right. Shout out also to LAR Movement. He was on there. Um, and this is really why I decided to do a video this late. All right. Um, I don't. I'm gonna say it just like this because it just needs to be said the way it needs to be said. It can be very, I don't want to use the term disheartening. I don't really want to use the term annoying, but it's really sometimes disheartening when you sit here and you listen to a video and you hear females that are older, maybe in their maybe late 30s, early 40s. I don't know how old they are. That's how they sound. If you get mad, you get mad. I'm just calling it what I hear. It's not that's not meant to play nobody. This is what it is. But these are not people in their 20s and not in their early 30s. And you just hear you hear how they just don't get it. How they like how even women that are in their like that are older, they are fucking clueless. They are in their own fucking world. And shout out to Jason Black. Jason Black did a video recently. He's yet to put it up, but it also highlighted this as well. And it's amazing how when women listen to Jason Black and Jason Black is just going in on the dudes, being like a football coach because he's balanced and the women ain't got nothing to say. But when it's time for them to get checked, all of a sudden they don't get it or they have an issue with it. And this is that gynocratic bullshit, where they can't do no wrong. This is how they're operating on. But as far as Mr. Research video, I'm gonna admit I didn't listen to like the first hour and a half. I listened more towards the last hour and a half. And what I'm really gonna comment on is really the last 30 minutes. Because they talked about quite a few things. Really, LAR was talking about the court system. The first thing that really annoyed me was the fact LAR was talking. This is the problem. Our women have this idea where they have BGS calls it shame, guilt, and need to be right. And in their own minds, they have rewritten history so much in their own fucking brains. Let me take a step back for a second. So shout out to The Watchmen. There's a new TV show out here called The Watchmen. It's Regina King, and although Regina King has said some suspect shit with black men, for the most part, she's not on that shit, and she's married. She's been married to black men, so I give her at least one little niggas ain't shit pass. But and plus she does a lot of good work. She was the voices of Boondocks and all of that. She was in the Watchmen this episode, and it began with showing the Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Tulsa massacre, which is crazy. And it's funny because it's been a thing in kind of the geekdom kind of community to the extent that I see that shit where people are actually like white folks. It's actually funny. White folks are actually we're googling it. Like it hit a lot, massive amount of traffic. The Tulsa, Oklahoma riots because white people didn't believe that happened. It is funny because this is white owned media showing them something. And remember, this is how powerful the media is. AM1 would say that, it's not real until the media shows it. So a lot of the same white folks that will talk about like black people forget white people don't know about the riots. It's the race riots in Tulsa, Black Wall Street is really not talked about in the mainstream, and it's not talked about in like Black History Month. We're what, like 4 months for Black History Month. um It's not really talked about. Like we just talk about the first black person this, the first black person that, Dr. King, Malcolm X. It's been Disneyfied. Really, we should be like the Jews and use that to highlight a lot of the atrocities that's happened, to let them know this is what the fuck we asking for reparations now. This is why when we ask for reparations, a lot of white folks like, what the fuck you talking about? Because they have come up in the same fucking school system that we did. And we didn't learn about the race riots. Even in the South, you didn't learn about that shit. You didn't learn about Black Wall Street and all that. You didn't learn about all of the districts where black people were actually building communities. So my point to saying that is, it was amazing how that really fucked with some people, because for the first time they couldn't just deny it, because this is their media showing them that, and they didn't know if it was real or not, because obviously it's a fucking TV show. But the way they showed it was some real shit. No, it's not insomnia. It's not insomnia. But the point is, um and shout out to AM1. No, it's not nothing you say. What I said, AM1, is so basically AM1, there's a TV show called The Watchmen, kind of like the movie. It's a direct sequel of the book 30 years later. And the first scene in The Watchmen is they show the Tulsa, Oklahoma race riots. And it's interesting because a lot of white folks have been Googling Tulsa race riots, because actually The Watchmen takes place in Tulsa, Oklahoma this season. And white folks for the first time saw that shit. So what I'm saying is, because your white media, because HBO is white owned, is showing them something now that becomes real to them, and that just goes back to what you say. The power of the mainstream media is, people like to act like they're beyond the mainstream, but if the mainstream media shows you something, just the fact that they had to Google it, like, because we weren't taught that in school, and I just imagine what they thought of when they said, wow, this shit really happened. Because we don't talk about really Jim Crow, we just talk about integration, but they don't talk about why shit had to be integrated in schools. So that was my point, and I said you would agree with that. That's all I said as far as the power of media, because that's something you always say. Now, going back to what I was saying, the reason I even made that comment was to understand our women have rewritten history in their own minds. You see, one of the things that really annoyed me about that video, and look, I get it. This is why I say I'm not, everybody has a role. My role is not really to engage women really in these conversations, because I don't have patience for their bullshit. I just don't. You see it in BGS for women. I do not have their patience for their bullshit. You all have observed this. Maybe it's a fault of mine. It is what it is. I go a few good men. I'm like, what's dude's name? You know what I'm talking about? Not well. I'm like Jessup. I'm like both of them. I'm like you. I'm like Jessup. I'm like, I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. That I'm like both of them when they were getting animated. I'm not gonna deal with that bullshit. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not gonna be like Kevin Bacon when I'm gonna be all formal and shit like LAR and Mr. Research can be. And that's good, because you need to engage them in a way where they're gonna say how they feel and what they leave out. So it was a very good conversation. So that's not what I'm saying. I just don't have the patience to do that bullshit. And the conversation wouldn't have got as far, even for me to make a video, had I been on there, because I would shut a lot of shit down like off the gate. Like, as soon as they said anything, I would shut that shit down, because I just don't care anymore. And the way I kind of look at it is, if somebody would ask me, well, if you don't care, why do you still engage? Well, I'm like the representative in Congress. I'm like telling you, look, the people I represent, they already about to do some crazy shit. I'm just letting you know so it can be documented that it was said. Like, this is why you got these zillennials out the gate not fucking with sisters like that. They don't give a fuck what you want to say about race. They don't give a fuck about none of the bullshit black women mentality of the generations. They don't care. They see it. That ain't what they want. They dealing with what they want. And the last hour of BGS, after, so you had the hour 7 with Deity was on there, and then you have hour like 8, and or after Deity left. And then like the last about hour and 15 minutes. And then we're talking about it. These are all older black men talking about their kids that are like their sons that are like 19, 20, 21, some of them 30, basically like 19 through 30, and how their sons, they don't date black women. They don't. Now I date black women, but you gotta remember where I live too. They don't date them. They're not fucking with them. They're either fucking with white or Hispanic. They're not playing, and folks can't understand that because these women, these kid dudes come from black mothers too, and they're not playing. And these women, they have this belief that, well, if I just get them talking, if I can run out the clock, then as long as they're talking to me, then they're still here. And I'm like, we're kind of talking to you to document what's going on, but no, we're not. That's what, just because we're talking to you does not necessarily mean we're as invested as you think we are. And that's the type of shit that a lot of some of these blue pill pro black motherfuckers be having them believe. This is why a lot of these dudes will be pro black, be low key fucking non black women their damn selves. Ron Wills just did a video on BGS, uploaded it, and I listened to it. And I've been on record saying that I don't really think Ron Wills needs to be the dude that needs to be put up there for people to try to make videos against. But people are gonna do what they're gonna do, and that is what it is. But one of the things that he said, and he didn't make a declaration, but he said, because there's a video about dealing with bottom feeders, and he was talking about how, you should deal with the women that mess with you. And he was talking about, like, he'd make a video about going overseas because, that's a thing. You'll learn a culture, learn a language. And he made it very clear, not that he's promoting black men to deal with non black women, but that he's not gonna hold that against anybody doing that. That's just, he looks at that as, well, that they're doing what they're doing. And that's the thing I've always wanted a lot of these dudes to kind of not declare, but to make clear. Because the biggest reasons why black men, to the extent that they want to say, are talking about quote unquote bottom feeders, or they're in the conversations, because it's kind of like we're having a conversation about black men can only deal with this pool of women because of white supremacy. So you can only date black women, because to not do that is you're basically contributing to white supremacy. This is how black women think. And black men really in a collective voice needs to shut that shit down. Black women are going to have to earn their men. And a lot of dudes don't believe that. A lot of dudes believe that the burden is on black men to convince the black woman to come off their bullshit. No, it's not. The burden is on black women to earn a man that they want. And the problem is, a lot of the guys they want do not want them. So they get mad. Or they wanted them at one point and now they don't, because they've collected too much baggage. All of this shit comes back to, at the end of the day, black women trying to maintain what the fuck they want. And it's like this resistance to it. And see, what I hear in that video is, I hear this delusion. Even with, it's like a through line of, you're not really, you're talking to me like this is some 50-50 shit. Like, this is some, you 50 black men 50-50 fucked up, black women 50-50 fucked up. No, this is about 85 y'all fucked up. And the main 15% that black men got to hold on to is that they didn't fucking carve out the black women early on and basically leave them to their own devices. The women that started really pulling that shit, they didn't just do scorched earth, saying, you fucking take the kids away, that's not my kid no more. You kick me out the house, I'm not fucking with that kid. You getting child support, that's all you getting. They don't got a dad. You say what you, and if you try to say what you want to do, they didn't counter message. The biggest thing that black men did is, black men did not realize early enough that these women are fucking going rogue and betraying you. They're opening the doors to Troy when it comes to our culture, and basically they're letting the hounds in to basically wreck the shit. And the women didn't even realize. I, I refuse to say that they knew what they were doing. I'm not even going to say they didn't realize. And now they're trying to rewrite history like white people do and act like that's not what happened. See, towards the end of the video, one of them asked a question, talk about how do we get these men thinking about. This is really what triggered the video. She asked, it was two of them on there. She asked, and I've talked to both of these. I've been on panels with both of these people, so it is what it is. She asked, how do we get these men thinking about legacy and not thinking about fucking and eating food and fucking? How can we get them thinking about legacy? And the first thing that came to my mind is, you stupid bitch. And I hope she hears it, because I mean what I said. Is because For you to honestly ask that, like C Boogie would say, the nerve of you to ask that fucking question. You motherfucking bitches raise these dudes in a gynocratic environment. You purposely chose niggas that will facilitate that. I'm tired of these bitches talking about niggas that they're fucking and choosing to have kids with, and all of a sudden they want to act like these are bum ass niggas, like they just magically turn into bum ass niggas. And I'm like, you fucking go ask now, after you're aged up, how do we teach these niggas about a legacy? You teach that shit. You choose the father for your children and you teach that shit. And quite frankly, if you don't know how to teach that shit, you give them up to the dad. And you're really supposed to choose a fucking good dad in the fucking first place. This is that character shit that Obsidian's talking about and often talks about. Legacy is not some fucking fast food shit where you just go. This is not some fucking I'm fat as fuck, so maybe I can go and get surgery to fucking get rid of the fat lipo. That's not what the fuck this is. This is not something where you can just do your fuck shit and now that you're older and you want to fucking act right or you think the community, because let's keep it all the way fucking real. The only reason why they care about black men caring about legacy is because it's another way of getting black men to stay. That's it. I've said this before on this platform. The irony is that black women would not go through as much colorism and bullshit as they go through if black men were taught early on to value the black womb. Black men are not taught to value the black womb because black men are taught to chase the womb. They're not taught that only the black womb can actually give you legacy because that is what a patriarchy would teach. This is why Arabs can fuck black women, but when it's time to actually fucking deal with somebody that they need to have a legacy with, they switch up. Jennifer Lopez did this. She fucked with black men, white men, but when it was time, she went with her own. Well, to the extent you could go. And this is the shit that got, like, it was other things they said too leading up to that, like the child support system, how she just have she had a they had an answer for everything, and they want to make, oh well, and then the same person that said that said, well, some you abuse the child support system. Is damn near 85% of black women abuse child support system. Shut the fuck up. Talk about some. Some would indicate it's more like in the 30s, approaching maybe 39%, not over 40, because that would be approaching half. And you would say half. No, it's not some, it's most. And it's these little keyword indicators that let you know that they're on the fuck shit just on a lesser degree. Well, can we have a conversation? I can talk like I have some fucking sense, but I'm still gonna believe the same dumb shit that got us here. I just want to run out the fucking clock. And shit like that and it's like this is what we're getting even with people that act they're supposed to get it. But at the end of the day, oh well, I just need these niggas stop fucking for food. You bred these motherfuckers to think that way. You raise these boys to think that way. And I'm not, like, at the end of the day, a man has to, stand on his own square. But what I would say is, okay, if I was gonna be nice, but Mr. Research probably cut me off a little before I go to this heavy. I say, okay, so I'm gonna calm down and I'm gonna respond to that question. How do we teach black men to think about more than just fucking and eating? To the extent that we say that that is what it is. Because I can even call bullshit on that. But and think about legacy. Okay. Two things that I'm gonna ask. Number one, are you attracted to a man that cares about his legacy? Number two, were you attracted when your sexual marketplace value was at its peak to a man that cares about his legacy? That's that K Michelle bullshit on mission. Do not ever, 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 ever let a female in general, but especially a black female, try to tell you about they giving a fuck about mission. Because the reality is the niggas that they fucking should they have fucked should reflect that shit. And if it doesn't, they're full of shit. So that mission shit that black women are starting to come out with, that bag shit, that is again. And I disagree with. I understand what Mr. Research was trying to say, but I disagree with that. You got black women that want they are looking. They are not looking for a bag. They're looking for a fucking golden parachute. And I'm the type of person where I'll put bullets all up in that motherfucker, let them hit the pavement, hit that damn wall, which is the ground, face fucking first. But anyway, going back to the question is number one, the easy answer is these boys have to be raised in a patriarchy, which means the man has to have the priority. Which means you're gonna have to at best at worst cooperate and at best submit. If you can't submit, there is no legacy. If you can't cooperate, there's no legacy. This is non-negotiable. That's the answer. And we know what you're going to do. You're going to have your little mental breakdown, talk about submission, doormat, all this bullshit, all this PTSD, fake ass, color purple bullshit. And then you're going to come up with a reason why you're not going to do that. And that's why you don't have a legacy. The same actions that I just described, the same psychological chemical reactions that goes through a female's head, just like what you call it said when he was torturing Morpheus. Those chemical reactions is the same reason you don't have it, because our women collectively do actions that lead to that not happening. That's why we are where the fuck we are. And this is what people don't want to understand. The law has empowered women to do this. Now, people will try to act like I'm just scapegoating dudes. I'm not scapegoating dudes. I'm just telling you what the fuck it is. You either can believe that or you don't. We have spent this entire last 40 years basically saying we're in the 80s now. So really 50 years basically saying that the black community is where it is because black men fucked up. And nobody has ever really explored what black women are doing. Not really honestly explored it. So that's a form of deflection. A black man serves as a deflectionary role in the community. The woman cannot be at fault. It's all the black man's fault, yet nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Clearly, that's not all the equation. So some of these questions, like, I get why these dudes say that these women shouldn't be on fucking panels. Because real talk, they're gonna say the same shit. Like, if she would have said that dumb shit with BGS, BGS would have broke that shit down from one way to Sunday. The other women would have broke that down from one way to Sunday. This is why they really look for who will actually engage that bullshit. This is why a lot of them don't like going on BGS's shit, because BGS actually has the facts to counteract their bullshit. They don't like that because they're not interested in the truth. They're interested in their narrative. And this is why a lot of people come to the Hotep fake ass pro black bullshit, is because this allows them to pretend like there's a solution. Just like when people go to church, they pretend like they're going to heaven while they still do their fuck shit. They worship the pastor as a false idol. We know what the fuck is going on, but they don't want to be emotionally like accounted for it. So when I heard that shit, and I heard that shit from older women, I'm like, come on, man, you motherfuckers are too fucking old to be trying to slide in this bullshit on the low. You're too fucking old. Like I'm like, seriously. Well, some women, yes, abuse the system, but so are you honestly telling me that the system right now is a reflection of some women taking advantage of it? Is that what the fuck you see? Well, there's a commercial that talks about advocating for fathers' rights and da 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 da. And a lot of these dudes, they can do paperwork, and that the judge don't always side with the woman. They don't always overturn shit and da da da. Just the stupid shit. And I'm gonna tell you something else. You know what gets on my fucking nerves? This thing when you're talking to females and they probe to see what you know, so they can see what they can get away with. A big reason why black women don't get protected is because black women are not trusted. Black men do not trust your ass no more. LAR said, he said, well, we fell out of love with each other. No, black women have gotten away from black men for a long fucking time. It's just now you starting to see black men clue into that shit. And now what you see is motherfuckers trying to take water out of a sinking ship and put it in fucking put it take it out of the boat and put it back in the water, and they looking stupid doing it. So they're saying crazy shit, trying to say black men are predators or this or that, just throwing bombs because it's that fucking insane. Because they know the logic just does not. It doesn't. It's like saying it's a hole in a fucking plane while the plane is flying, and you see the air being sucked out, but these motherfuckers say it's just fine. Just put on your seatbelt. They sound that fucking stupid. No, I haven't seen Angry Man live. I haven't watched anything from Angry Man in a very long time, and that is no shade. That just is what it is. I haven't seen fucking Corey Holcomb in a while, so it is what it is. Eh, yeah. I mean, for real. I mean, whether it's get your passports, look, get your passports, but or start, navigating the country. It doesn't matter. Like it's all supplementation. You got interracial supplementation. You got intercultural supplementation. You don't need a passport to do that. You really don't. No, I haven't watched The Grinch. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, Smitty. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And these women, and understand something. When they ask the whys, that's just a form of shaming, number one. And um, number two, it's really a form of shaming. It's really a form of shaming and a form of trying to guilt trip. Well, why is this? You better get this. I mean, no, like I'm gonna tell you, my mom's lucky. My mom got three sons that basically dates black women. She fucking lucky, to be honest with you. That's usually not the case. And I'm the oldest. So it only gets younger for me. Well, passport is not this is the thing you gotta understand. I know it sounds like I'm using harsh language, but I don't hate black women. I'm actually very, I don't. That's not what this is. At the end of the day, as a man, you have to do what's in your best interest. Every man understands that, but our women, like, think of like what does it take for a man to care about legacy? Okay, you do realize it's his legacy, not your legacy. If a man actually makes says, like, let's keep this real. If a man makes a conscious decision and say, I don't want a black woman, I'm done. Like, say SYSBM, that's a legacy decision, whether they believe it or not. The difference with SYSBM is they're consciously making the decision. They're making an informed decision. They're not just, oh well, I want non-black women and I just fall into that because that's what happened. No, they have made a declaration. When you jump into that, that's what it is. That's why I've always said that needs to exist. They know what they're doing. That's the point. So when people sit here and they be like, well, why? They got a whole bunch of content about why. Why? Because of this list of grievances. And what happens is sisters don't hear that. They dismiss that shit. Hell, Veronica Conway tried to say this is radicalizing men. So the women haven't been radicalized. That's just how women are supposed to act, even though they operate outside of any other women, including other women have far worse circumstances than they do globally. But it is what it is. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a legacy decision. It's a decision to build a legacy outside of that group. You see what I'm saying? That's a decision. And they have every right to make that decision, whatever consequences, whatever benefits. And that's not even throwing no shade, because I said the same thing with women. Women can choose whatever they want to choose for whatever reason. They got to own the shit. They don't understand that. So when they talk about legacy, they don't give a fuck about your legacy. They give a fuck about your legacy to the extent that it benefits them. And see, that's the problem. The problem is black men are not looking at black women or saying, what the fuck can you do to benefit me? They're talking about what can we do to benefit each other. The problem is the women are only having one conversation, which is, what can you do to benefit me? And that's the issue. Well, see, I'm a passport bullies. They don't even fit that. What you just said, they don't even fit that. But that's not the point. They don't have to. They're all operating. It's like this bullshit is like the sun. And they may be in the inner planets like Venus, which is like ratchet as fuck, and they may be on the outer planets, but they're still rotating around the same bullshit. They haven't left the solar system. That's like maybe 10% or 15%. And and most of those women are married. That's the thing. They're not understanding that. And these women were probably like on the outer planets. So they could talk like they got some common sense. But they're still saying the same shit. And I'm like, and my thing is, you all don't understand. You're saying the same shit. I'm not like most dudes. I've been baptized in a lot of show. I can detect this bullshit. And what a lot of y'all don't know, people say this is hard as you know, it's the same thing in real life. I'm the same. I'm very much the same way. Like I can detect. Dude, I worked at a call center for 7 years. I've taken over 40,000 calls. I make outbound calls for a living now. Active listening skills is something I've perfected. A big reason why my voice is the way it is because this I've it's been perfected over time. As far as voice inflection to deal with certain people, and I could change it if I really wanted to. I just don't give a fuck. But my point is active listening. So I can hear what you're saying behind what you're saying. I can hear the patterns of what you're saying. If I've heard, I can remember what you've said before and how it doesn't make sense now. And you're not really explaining that. I can see that. And you got to remember, most women are not used to that. Most women are used to, they can just say whatever fuck they want to say because the motherfucker try and fuck them. They just say, open your legs. But when we're having this conversation, I'm listening. I hear what the fuck you're saying. And if I remember what you said before, which I usually do, I remember what you said before in this same context. So they're operating on emotion. So they're just saying what they fucking feel in the moment. Well, man, my rule is it's 1 in 5. 1 in 5 black women are within parameters of operating like they got some sense. That's how I look at it. Some people think that's too high, but I say 1 in 5, so about 20%. Yeah, that's what and Smitty, and I'm gonna say that and I'm gonna end it. That's what it is. Oh, appreciate that, Henry James. I'll be coming up with some more. But what you because my youngest brother is a year younger than you by like maybe 6 months. So a lot of it is a lot of it is cultural compatibility. That's the main issue. And black people don't understand culture. We look at you got to remember, black people do not look at, when I say black people, I'm talking about ADOS. We do not look at things uh, from a, we do not look at things from a cultural standpoint. We look at things from a racial standpoint. White people look at things from a class standpoint. Africans look at things from a tribal and class standpoint. This is why they try to justify fucking with white people to the extent that they do, because they see that as a class jump. It's different lanes. Make sure y'all get the likes up too, and they don't understand that. And black and the ADOS black people don't really understand that. That's the same thing that the Dominicans are doing and the Puerto Ricans are doing. This is why black people are fucking stupid when they try to tell. Like for instance, I'm gonna do a video probably tomorrow on Amara La Negra defending Gina Rodriguez saying nigga. The article's not as bad as it the title will make it sound like. But the point is, you know, you know, when black people, Gina is Puerto Rican. If they, I'm from Chicago, we deal with a lot of Puerto Ricans. If they don't want to be black, they don't want to be black. Stop fucking telling them that they're black. Because the big reason why they can use nigga is because black people, main really led by black women, but I'm not gonna act like black men don't do this either. We let they say nigga. That's the problem. Dominicans, unless you're like a black Dominican, or unless you're a black Puerto Rican, like Carmelo Anthony is, clearly he's black. No, you need to stop telling these people who the fuck they are because you're insecure. And we gotta stop doing that shit because that shit shows up in how we spend our money. That shit shows up in a lot of different ways. But the ultimate point is culture matters and we don't think in culture. And a lot of this lame shit is really black men that are not culture compatible. Dude, let me tell you something. The same motherfuckers, I can show you. I can show. In fact, I might do it. I might do. I can show you black women that cosplay that are very, very good at it. That are knee deep in the geek community. I can show you very good looking females. A lot of these females, now that they know there's a lot of white and black people that's in this geek stuff and there's money in it, they'll come over here and show the ass and show the tit a little bit in some fucking cosplay shit. You see it. I see it now all the time because of Halloween in October. These women go where the dudes are. And where they see what a momentum is, that's where they gonna be. We lead as far as what that is. They may lead with ass titties, but we lead as far as telling them what the fuck is cool and not cool. Yeah, what's up, Black Outcast? So don't ever let them, like, women are led by the collectivity of men. The problem with black men is black men operate too much on an individual basis. And that allows our women to pick us off individually. This is why I say you should deal with people that are like minded. I'm not saying dealing with all black men. You deal with people that are like minded with you. And I'm not saying you should deal with only black men. I'm not telling you not to do that. But what I am telling you is you need to put a special priority on black men that are like minded because those are people that are really in your tribe. Real talk. And that's the thing that black men miss. That's the thing a lot. That's why it's BM people miss. This is why that BM1 thing really matters. But anyway, that shit got on my fucking nerves. It really did. It really did because the shit it really just leads you like it's no point. It's really no point outside of a couple of folks when it comes to these YouTube conversations. These conversations, they the problem is it's like talking to a white person they does not understand Jim Crow. They're looking at racism as they see it today. They're not looking at everything how it came together. Or they have their own fucking alternate reality, revisionist history of how they got where they got. Even within the laws. Like John Stewart used to correct Bill O'Reilly. He used to say they came up with Pellet Town, which allowed the men to be in the home and let y'all get y'all shit together. They did not do that for us because they really wanted to separate that shit. They did that shit on purpose. And the women bit that apple. And see what happens is the woman, they're trying to act, so women are trying to act like they were justified in biting the apple, like I'm talking about from Adam and Eve, or that they didn't really bite the apple. They're trying to blame it on the snake. Well, yeah, the snake is a snake. You still chose to bite the apple. God ain't gonna be like, well, yeah, I know he's fucked up. That's why he's not in heaven. Cause he's an asshole. That's why he's a fucking snake. But bitch, you still bit the apple. No, don't look at Adam. Adam's dumbass is he didn't get you out of here. He's leaving with your dumbass because he didn't get you out of here first. Because real talk, you the second bitch. Because Lilith was the first bitch. And she called and she basically told me she's strong and independent. So Lilith got kicked out first. But I believed in your bitch ass Eve, but you bit the fucking apple. So I realized that Adam's a simp. So he's gonna have to go. He's gonna have to suffer the simp's prayer. because he's a two-time loser, and they're out of Eve, struggling. That's basically the black community. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. People can get mad about what I'm saying, but this bullshit about oh well, we just stopped. No, we didn't just stop. Y'all wanted to skip the line, and basically we are where we are, and now motherfuckers trying to act like, well, we both fucked up. No, y'all basically tapped into the white supremacist system to get your independence for what you all perceive as y'all's independence. And now that that shit has turned out the way it's turned out, now you all are trying to get somebody else to clean up your fucking messes. That's really what we're talking about. No, I don't know what Tony Gaskins is, but that's really what the fuck we're dealing with. And quite frankly, you know, I told Obsidian this. These motherfuckers are never gonna admit that. What they're gonna do is they're gonna try to play like shit didn't happen, and then we're gonna get into this Cold War bullshit where black women don't want to be here, black men don't really want to be there, like it's been, and that shit ain't working, man. It's just not. It's just not. And I'm tired of really having this conversation where we're trying to explain some shit that is obvious, and y'all want to believe what you want to believe, really. And I'm telling you, in the manosphere, we really need to start vetting motherfuckers, start really saying, look, I'm not engaging my, like, your opinion, what you fucking thinks happens, and what actually happened is what matters, not what the fuck you think, not how you emotionally want to see it or emotionally want to feel good, because a lot of them were saying some shit they knew was not true. They were saying some shit they knew was not true. They knew that shit was, some of that shit they knew was not true. They're being intellectually dishonest, and that intellectual dishonesty gets on my fucking nerves because it's a form of disrespect. It's that bullshit where they really believe you smarter than us. And that's what I hear, and that's a form of that matriarchal bullshit, and I cannot stand it. I can't, and that's why you see me respond the way I respond, because I'm like, I know you know this shit, so stop fucking talking to me like I'm fucking stupid. I don't give a fuck about them leveling up because they're not leveling up. Most of them are trying to get golden parachutes, and they're calling it leveling up. There's a difference. Don't let them try to have you believe that they're trying to level up. They're not leveling up. Leveling up to what? It's like a fucking a car trying to say I'm a salvage title, but I'm a level up. No, you're still a salvage title. You're looking for a golden parachute. That's what you're looking for. It's like fucking going to an animal shelter and they say I'm leveling up to get in the home. No, you're not. Or bastards, they're in a group home saying I'm leveling up by getting a foster home. No, you're not. Well, I mean, passport, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, look, the thing, I'm gonna say this and I'm done. The thing that black men did not do is black men did not realize that his woman turned on him. And he did not realize that and understand that and accept that. That is what black men did not do. Black men failed by going along with the fucking program. And they still do it till this very day. They're not saying it's over. It That's really what the issue is. And they still do it. That's where black men fucked up. They're sitting here saying, look, this is either what it's going to be or I'm out. And that's it. It's really that simple. Why? Because you can't be responsible for what you don't control. And this is why it's so dangerous for people like me to say gynocracy. Because as people start hearing that, I mean, these millennials know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. They see it. They see it in how these women act. They see it in how these same women act towards other groups. And it ain't just, oh, well, they're better than me. No, because if that's the case, why are you still fucking these dudes? Why are you still fucking black men if these women, other men are just so better? Two reasons. Number one, and they said, and actually this was said on Black Ram's thing while he was talking to somebody else. They don't have access to these dudes as much as they like to act like they do. Or when I say access, I mean these dudes ain't keeping them; they're just using them for sex. And then number two, like that shit is baked in the cake. It really is. And they don't want to admit that because they know if they admit it, then there's nothing else to go from here. There's nothing else to talk about. It's nothing else to talk about. It's over. And see, even people like Jason Black likes to frame it as you've got winners and losers. But in intelligent black society, this doesn't happen. No, this happens too, even in intelligent black society. Because you have plenty of people, women that will listen to Jason Black, but then they fall out of that. And then one thing they keep telling Jason, well, these men are not like how you say out here, these men are not providers. Well, about what they say, like 20% of black men make 50,000 dollars or more. So yeah, that's the pool you have to work with, and you're not even looking at them for income. You're looking at them for looks. So when you say these men, that's code for either you can't get a decent dude because you got a lot more baggage that you want to say you got, and you fucked up when you're in your 20s. Because really, when you're in your peak, that's when you should be locking dudes down. You can't wait in your 30s and think you'll have a plethora of motherfuckers that are providers. Because dudes that are providers know they're providers and they don't have to settle. That's what y'all not understanding. Our women have no concept of actually making an offer for black men. They believe black men are supposed to do what the fuck they're supposed to do because you say it. That's really what it comes down to. And my thing is, if black men leave, because at the end of the day, the women, like I said, the level of intellectual dishonesty, I'm fucking tired of it. That's what I mean. I'm tired of these motherfuckers basically acting like they don't know when I know they know. And they're really probing to see how much do we know. So they can see if they can get, it's this constant, if I engage you, you're trying to con me. It's like when somebody's trying to con you constantly. That's what it is. You know what? I don't even give a shit about the dating coaches because the shit is so obvious. If you listen to them, you want to listen to them. And quite frankly, all dating coaches are not bad. All of them are like Glendon Cameron is a dating coach. He's great. I like what the video Ron Wills just did because he made some things very, very clear that I was thinking about. So I don't really have an issue with that. And because none of these dudes are outwardly, a lot of these dudes are not outwardly saying you should stick with sisters. They're not gonna come out and tell you you should not date sisters because they ain't trying to have sisters in their ass. That's up to you to read in between the lines. So anyway, yeah, I appreciate y'all hanging with me late at night. I'm gonna be feeling it tomorrow morning, but it is what it is. So with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.